day, like it's just having a chat, you know what I mean? You're great. All right, hello and welcome to another episode of Coffee with SamPaul. We are at the Front Page Cafe today, and I'm delightfully joined by Andrea Dawson. Andrea, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, SamPaul.
And thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Now, after the embarrassing mixing up of my guest today, you're a musician.
I am.
You work with Gwen Ashton.
I do.
So how did you get into that? How did you come to kind of work with Gwen, and you know, what's your background in music?
Oh, well, my background is I moved here from Port Augusta in 1986 and started off in cabaret and worked my way up into more so the rock field.
Yeah.
But being a country girl, there's country in me.
Oh, lovely.
There's rock, there's country, there's all sorts. A real mix. Anyway, one thing and another, when COVID hit, it's pretty disastrous for most people, and it actually turned out to be a good thing for me. My husband knows Travis from the Super Jesus.
Oh, wow.
And they were chatting away on Facebook. This is when COVID was in full-blown COVID.
Yeah,
full force. And basically, Travis was working with Gwen on an album, and so they had nowhere to go, and my husband said, well, why don't you just come round to our house, we've got a little music room, you can sit in there and do whatever you like.
Fantastic.
So it's a bit funny because my husband says to me, oh, Travis is coming over tonight with a friend, you know, to look at the music room, might do a bit of music. And I was like, oh yeah, he's the friend. He said, Gwen Ashton. And I went, Gwen Ashton? The Gwen Ashton? And my husband's in a different genre, and he was like, who's Gwen Ashton? And I went, you don't know who Gwen Ashton is.
Oh, that's funny.
Anyway, one thing and another, Travis and Gwen came over and they had a look at the room, did some stuff, come back 4 days later,
Yep.
and by the end of the session, we were sitting around the table having a chat, and my husband says, Gwen, you haven't heard my wife sing yet? And he said, oh, you sing? And he said, yeah, she plays a mean guitar too. Play something for her, play something. So they talked me into singing a song I wrote about my mum, and
Beautiful.
it went from there. I think it was the very next night Gwen had a portable studio set up and pulled out all the stuff I've written over the years, and we went from there.
Awesome.
So we actually recorded four or five albums in that period. We had, for my album, we had Dave Blight come in and play some blues for me on one of my.
Did you say so?
Dave Blight.
I know Dave Blight. Yeah. He's worked with a guy that I've done some work with. I digress.
So Dave came in and very happily did his bit, and then Paul Wheeler from Ice House, the drummer. Well,
it's amazing. Like,
it's true.
I'm starstruck.
Gwen, you know, knows all these people, and he rang Paul up, and Paul was very interested, so he came down and played on one of the tracks on the album. But we also did a lot of small gigs down at the Cumbie at the time.
Oh yeah.
Just you know,
playing
the stuff. No, the Cumbie's down. Where was that? What Adelaide?
Yeah.
Oh right. Anyway.
Oh, for you, it's probably not that direction. For me, that's kind of west from where I live. So yeah.
Oh right.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know, Port Adelaide.
It's a great little venue, that one.
It is. Now, Michael was right behind original music, so so we had Chris Lambden. We'd met Chris at Twain Central. Chris used to be with the Streaming Believers, and a magnificent bass player. But before that, we had the wonderful Dennis Capritas.
Oh wow! I heard that out.
Yeah, so Gwen was so impressed with Chris that he said, would you like to come and play on some tracks, you know? Wow. So Chris became the bass player after Dennis.
Yep.
Dennis was with Velvet Moth Streamliners.
Okay.
Dennis Capritas. Lovely bloke, but it ended up being Chris playing bass in the end, and then who else did we have come through? Dave Gleason come in. Gwen was working on an album with Dave at the time, and so Dave come over and he's done a duet with me on a song I wrote called Poker Face.
Yep.
It's a rock song, all about narcissism.
A little bit too much of that kind
Yeah,
of,
real stuff.
Yeah.
So Dave came in and we had a good day there, and I done some backing vocals on Dave's album that he's bringing out, I believe. I'm not sure when.
Yeah.
But I did that, and then with Dave, and then who else? Chris Finnan, of course.
Oh,
Chris
yeah.
and Matt Taylor.
I know of Chris.
Yes, Chris and Matt Taylor. They play on the next single that's coming out.
That's awesome.
With anyway, so a great bunch of musos who become involved in this.
That's
project.
incredible. Like that, I'm so jealous.
So all these musicians come together to play on my album that Quinn and I wrote.
Yep.
And from there, Quinn has gone back to the UK to tour. He's been over there about 30, 35 years.
Oh wow.
He's flat out all the time, you know.
Yeah.
So what he's doing is we've just released the first single from the album called Fight Back. It's up there on YouTube and Bandcamp.
I was about to ask you where you put it out.
Yeah, that's just been released on the 17th of April. It's had airplay in Florida, Ohio, top of UK, centre of UK, Ireland, Slovakia.
That's great.
Somewhere else I'm trying to remember.
I'll try. When you get to that many places,
it's getting a lot of airplay. The single over there, and Quinn's doing a lot of work, you know, with contacts that he has.
That's amazing.
And next year we're looking at once my album gets released, which will be later this year. Whoever picks the album up over there will direct how we set up the tour.
Yeah, amazing. That's so good.
So.
Yeah, that's really cool. You know, one thing that really struck me is interesting, and it's been my experience too, but you mentioned kind of like obviously during COVID, obviously the entertainment industry got hit super hard, and there was, you know, not much in the way of live performance, if any, you know, for quite a while. But one thing that I did notice about what you said, and as I said, my experience as well, is that it actually gave us opportunities to kind of record and produce a lot of music, because we could still, with the technology we have, like I actually had an album and I'd been kind of sitting on it for ages, and COVID kind of hit. I had no choice but to just sit and record and produce it because I had nothing else I could do, you know. I was working, thankfully, in a job which is sort of essential. I work at actually the free shop is down here, but that's about all I could do. So I was going home, sitting at the computer, doing the production work. So it's great to see that, you know, I wasn't the only one, you know. So a lot of good new music came out.
A lot of brilliant music actually. I've never actually worked in like the blues area, not really. A little bit of soul here and there, but a little rock. But what's come out of these recordings is, especially my album, is going to be very different to what people expect. Getting distracted.
That's all right.
Now I've forgotten what I was going to say.
Put two together and come up with something. Just give us a minute and we can refocus.
What was I saying?
You were saying that the album's going to be different to what people expect.
Oh yes, it's got a couple of rock tracks, but you know, Fight Back is sort of that down to earth rock, bit Louisiana bluesy, sort of dirty kind of gritty stuff behind it. The clip is black and white to suit, and that's perfect for me because that's exactly who I am. So when you see the clip, that's just me. You know, that's the way it's got to be. All the tracks have been written about my life, and what's happened in my life, things I've experienced. You know, I'm hoping to reach people. I'm hoping that they can sit and listen to a song and go, well, I can understand that. I know how that feels. You know.
Isn't it a great feeling when you find that happens?
Absolutely. You know, I'm happy. I'll sit there and play to one person with my guitar, and if they smile, then I'm done. I'm happy. You know, I don't have to be in front of thousands of people or anything like that. But having said that, once the album takes off, let's hope it takes off. It will certainly be more so over there than here. You know, if the album has been engineered to.
Have you got plans to go over to the UK?
Oh yeah, next year.
Oh, that's amazing.
So as I said before, once the album gets picked up by whoever, that will direct us as to where. But
100%,
but apparently Germany is one place that one thinks is just going to go nuts. So we'll see. We'll see.
I've heard about the internet and the way we operate these days, how you can reach people in countries you probably would have never considered would like your music, but through the internet and streaming and all these different avenues we have now. Sure, there's some negative side to those opportunities, but it gives you an audience. The world is your stage, essentially, isn't it? Really?
Well, that's right.
No?
That's right. I mean, if you'd have told me 10 years ago that I'd be, I'd make my own album and that it would be heard, US, UK, Europe. Wow, I would have went, me? Really? No.
No, I can completely relate. I mean,
so the album is coming, as I say. The first single has been released in April. Second single will be released soon. Same platforms, Instagram.
Bandcamp, I think you said.
Bandcamp, it's coming on Spotify. Of course, it's up on YouTube.
Just really quickly before we finish up though, I'm guessing from what you said earlier, you don't have a release date yet. You're kind of still shopping the album around or working?
In about a month, you expect the second single. That'll be featuring Matt Taylor, Chris Finnett, Quinn Ashton, Paul Wheeler, myself and my husband and Enquiries. So that'll be coming out soon, but we don't have a release date for the album just yet. It's being mixed by Andy at Instagram. So that'll be finished in June. Quinn will be back in July, and we'll probably be looking at around about September at this stage. Around about.
Do you have a website or like a Facebook page for your music output?
I do. I have an artist page on Facebook. It's just Andrea Dawson artist page. On Instagram. Where else am I sure?
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Andrea, for coming on to Coffee with SamPaul. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and I'm really excited to hear your album when it comes out and the new single when it drops. And I wish you all the best with everything, and keep in touch. How you're going.
Get in there and subscribe on my YouTube channel, will you?
Of course. And you do the
Give
same.
it a like. I will. I have.
Oh, have you? Oh,
Yes,
there you go.
I have.
My apologies. Oh, I'm embarrassed now. I will definitely do that. I will get on there and I'll give you a subscribe, and we'll put the link to your page in my when I release the video, so that people can kind of jump on and support.
I bought stuff anyway for you. So.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Oh, wow. You're so kind. Just very quickly, though, I probably should mention the shirt that I'm wearing. I have a clothing sponsor from Melbourne. They're called Grow Clothing. Check them out at growclothing.com.au. This is one of their many awesome designs that they have. And thank you again to Front Page for always putting up with me, just coming in and taking over a table and doing my filming here. So thanks again. And we look forward to seeing you just continue to grow and prosper with your music. It's so good to see.
Absolutely.
Awesome.